Well, here we go with the rub rail installation. First we ended up having to stretch this rub rail along the deck and hull seam. And then we ended up having to pull it all the way down here against some stationary. Either you use the old orange tree like this as an anchor to your come along. But the whole idea is take your rub rail, divvy it up in half, start at the bow, pull the port side down and the starboard side down, run it all the way back to the stern, like that. Bring it on back and wrap the come along around a tree or a forklift. Some dealers use a forklift, but then we didn't have one, so we used another boat trailer. Being that it was about 700 pounds, we figured that'd be enough to stretch that rail. And then we run the lines to half hitch onto these here rails, rubber rails, one on the port side, one on the starboard side, and start cranking. Cranked hard on the come along, and now once we got tension on that, we went around along both starboard side, me and Mark here, and we worked from the bow back towards the back of the boat, pulling the rub rail out and stretching it by hand, and then coming back here and taking up the slack and with this here come along, and just kept cranking on the come along, and then started the process over again from the bow back to the stern on both sides, taking up for the slack. So we finally got it stretched out, and as you can see, about 50 feet of rub rail went all the way around the boat, and with plenty to spare. Now what we need to do is we'll come back and we'll pull the rub rail away, and in the center channel here of the rub rail is a channel embossed in the rubber. We'll fill that up with 5200 3M, and then squeeze it back in place, and then give it 24 hours of curing time. And then once that's done, we'll come back and then we'll apply a bead of 5200 along the top here, like tubbing caulk, like you do in your bathroom. And of course then we'll finish this here back section here with the end pieces that we purchased 2 end pieces for that. They'll be glued in place, and then that will be all finished up. It'll be all done, so you backyard people that do these projects like we do in the backyard, save a little money. That's how us two guys did it, and we keep it down with no stress. Yeah, that's right. All right, let's go have a steak.
Pretty good. It's gonna take 4 tubes, like.
About 4 tubes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you put a lot of 5200 in there. Want to try to keep it clean on there. You don't want that excess to be on there. It gets harder to clean off. Lacquer, yeah, lacquer thinner to help cut that off. It looks like it's a real good job going so far. 5200's a pain in the butt. Oh yeah, yeah, to say the least. But at least it cuts it off there. I'm glad you're wearing your gloves.
Yes.
Always keep it saying, boy, it does a good job cleaning them. Very good job. A little at a time wins the race.
That's it.
You got it stretched, you got it in place. It's not going to go nowhere. And you can work at your own pace and do a good job. It's been a long time since this baby had a decent rub rail on it. Little shot of 5200 as you're working along. Stopped at the chain plate, pick up at the chain plate. The work of a doctor, I tell you. Excellent. Essentially put her in through the center trough of that rub rail and then pound her in place. And there goes the tube. Well, the rub rail has been installed. This is day 2 of the no stress.
That's right.
Yeah, man. And Mark cut loose the come along that was attached back here. Zippo gone. And took the loose ends, cut them. Somewhere like right in here, where these caps are, he screwed that rub rail piece in there with about 3 screws to kind of hold it in place. After he had just 3M 5200 caulking or caulk sealed that rub rail in place, and then just 5200 this plastic piece, which you can buy online, and finish the job off, and it really looks good now. So it's like after caulked in, so that now no water can seep in behind the rub rail. Not probably. Well, there's none underneath, as it's not really required. Did a good job bringing it around, a good stretch, and looking really good at this point. Really good job here. Pays to have patience. And once it's stretched on there, you don't really have any wrinkles or anything like that due from the stretching. And that's Puddin'. Hi, Puddin'. She gives us a hand here too. She gives us her opinion on things. And double check in there, you can put a C-clamp on her nose to hold her in place if you want.
Yeah,
And then it'll stay in place. Now actually it's a pretty sharp turn in there, and then what you have is you have the rubber wanting to pucker up along the top, and also there a little bit of it on the bottom. Well, while the 5200 sets, we think it's a good idea to clamp it down, so that way once it does set, it will stay put, and that's all it'd be really required. So that's the whole big mystery of a rub rail. Rub rail costs about $75 for 50 feet. For 26M or 26X, there's plenty enough and then some after you fit it on, stretch it all on a boat, that will have about 4 feet on either side of excess. And that is that. That concludes the improvement on that.